There's a number living in your brain right now. You didn't choose it. You've probably never even spoken about it out loud, but it's there, quietly running in the background of every decision you make about money, success, and what you're allowed to have. It's not your bank balance, it's not your salary, and it's not written anywhere. It's the invisible amount your nervous system believes you're worth. And here's the fascinating part. Your brain is working tirelessly every single day to keep you at that exact number. Not because you're broken, not because you lack ambition, but because your brain's primary job isn't to make you wealthy, it's to keep you alive. And to the most ancient part of your brain, alive means familiar. For thousands of years, neuroscientists and psychologists have studied why humans self-sabotage when it comes to money, success, and achievement. Why do we plateau? Why do we retreat just as we're about to break through? Today, brain imaging technology and psychological research are revealing something extraordinary. Your financial reality isn't shaped by the economy, your education, or even your work ethic. It's shaped by a set point, a neural program created before you were even old enough to understand what money meant. So, let's dive into 3 shiny gold nuggets that reveal the hidden architecture of worth and why understanding it changes everything. Shiny golden nugget number 1, the brain's financial thermostat. So, how neural pathways create your set point. So, let me show you something that happens in your brain every single day without you knowing. Your brain's stem and limbic system, which is the ancient survival focus part of your brain, are constantly monitoring your environment for threats. And one of the things they monitor is your financial status. So, neuroscientists have discovered that your brain operates with something called homeostasis, which is the tendency to maintain stable and in familiar conditions. So, you already know this works for body temperature. So, when you get too hot, you sweat. When you get too cold, you shiver. Your body has a set point around 98.6 degrees in Fahrenheit, and it fights to maintain it. But here's what's really extraordinary. Research in neuropsychology shows that your brain does exact same thing with your income, your savings, and your sense of financial safety. It creates what researchers call a financial set point, a range your nervous system has decided is safe based on your early experiences, like your family's relationships with money and the neural pathways built during childhood. And even studies using fMRI technology show that when people think about earning significantly more than their current baseline, the amygdala, which is the brain's fear center, lights up. So their body releases cortisol, their heart rate increases, and their palms get sweaty. So the brain is literally treating financial expansion as a threat. And when you get too close to exceeding your set point, whether through a raise, a windfall, or a successful venture, your brain activates what psychologists call homeostatic correction. So you'll make an impulsive purchase, you'll avoid an opportunity, you'll create a crisis that demands your money and attention. You'll feel an inexplicable urge to give it away or hide from it, not consciously, but neurologically. So your brain is bringing you back to the temperature it knows, back to the number it believes keeps you safe. And the most stunning part, this set point was installed before you were 7 years old. Shiny golden nugget number 2, the inherited story, how your money blueprint was written before you could speak. Now let's go deeper into where this set point comes from. Developmental psychology shows us that children are in a hypnotic state from birth right up to the age of 7. Their brain waves operate primarily in theta, the same state adults enter during deep meditation or hypnosis. So they are downloading everything from language, beliefs, emotional patterns, survival strategies, and one of the most powerful programs they download is the family's relationship with money. You didn't learn about money through lectures. You learnt it by osmosis. You absorbed the tension in your parents' voice when bills arrived, the shame or pride around what you could or couldn't afford, the spoken or unspoken messages about who deserves wealth, the emotional charge around spending, saving, asking, or receiving. So researchers in epigenetics and intergenerational trauma has discovered that financial stress doesn't just affect you, it affects your children's nervous systems. So study shows that children of parents who've experienced financial trauma exhibit heightened cortisol responses to money-related stress, even if they have never experienced financial hardship themselves. So the nervous system inherits the story. Dr. Gabor Mate, a leading expert in trauma and development, explains it this way. It's not what happened to you, it's what happened inside you as a result of what happened to you. So when your parents said, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, or rich people are greedy, your child's brain didn't analyze those statements. It absorbed them as truth, as identity, as the rules of reality. And your nervous system built neural pathways to match. So if your family's set point was $50,000 a year, your brain wired itself to believe that's the safe zone. And if money was scarce and stressful, your brain learned having more would be dangerous. Stay small, stay safe. So this isn't about blame, it's about biology. So your set point isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility to become aware of it, because awareness is where transformation begins. Shiny golden nugget number 3, the evidence loop, how your brain proves your set point right every single day. So here's where it gets even more fascinating and a little unsettling. Your brain doesn't just have a set point, it actively works to prove that set point is correct. This is because of something called the Reticular Activating System. Let's call it RAS for short. A network of neurons in your brainstem that acts like a filter. So every second, your brain is bombarded by 11 million bits of sensory information, but your conscious mind can only process about 40 to 50 bits per second. So the RAS decides what gets through. And here's the catch. It filters information based on what you already believe. So if your set point says, I'm worth $60,000 a year, your RAS will, 1, notice people who earn around that same amount. It's called confirmation. 2, highlight opportunities that match that level. That's called familiar. And 3, filter out evidence of people who earn significantly more. And that's called a threat. So psychologists call this confirmation bias. The brain's tendency to seek, interpret, and remember information that confirms pre-existing beliefs. But it goes deeper than just what you notice. Your RAS also influences your behavior. So if your set point is 60K and you start approaching 100K, your brain will subtly guide you to make decisions that bring you back down. Like you'll undercharge a client just this once. You'll avoid following up on a big opportunity. You'll take time off right when momentum is building. You'll say yes to something that drains your resources. And here's the brilliant part. You'll have a logical reason for every single one of those decisions. Your conscious mind creates a story. I needed a break. They couldn't afford my rate. The timing wasn't right. But underneath, your nervous system is doing its job. Maintain the set point. Stay in the familiar zone and survive. Dr. Joe Dispenza, a neuroscientist studying the brain's ability to change, puts it in this way. Your personality creates your personal reality, and your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So if you think you're worth 60K, you'll act like someone worth 60K, and you'll feel unsafe when you exceed 60K. So the loop reinforces itself until you interrupt it. What happens when you finally see the invisible number? When you realize the ceiling you've been hitting isn't about the market, your skills, or the economy, but about a neural program written before you could even tie your shoes, everything changes. Because awareness is the crack in the program. The moment you see your set point, it loses its grip. The moment you understand you're collecting evidence to prove it right, you can start collecting different evidence. The moment you recognize your nervous system is just trying to keep you safe, you can begin to teach it with something like this new level feels safe too. Neuroscience shows us that the brain is neuroplastic. It can rewire itself at any age. So that means that you're not stuck with the set point you were given, but you can't change what you can't see. So I know what it's like to undercharge and feel sick about it afterwards. I have your voice shake when you say your price. I know what it's like to undercharge and feel sick about it afterwards. To have your voice shake when you say your price, to avoid the opportunity because you've already decided you are not ready yet. I've been there, stuck at the same level month after month, wondering what was wrong with me, watching other people charge premium prices and thinking they must have something I don't, but they didn't. They just had a different set point. So here's what I want to offer you. 3 simple assessments that will show you your invisible number, the exact belief your nervous system is protecting, the evidence loop that you're running, and the story that you inherited about what you're allowed to have. 10 minutes, that's all it takes. And once you see it, like really see it, you can't go back to not knowing. Then, if you want to go deeper, and I hope you do, come and sit with me on the 1st of December live, where we'll work through the somatic techniques that actually rewires your nervous system, the framework that helps you identify exactly what keeps you stuck, and the mindset shift that makes premium pricing feel natural instead of terrifying. And it's free because this work matters to me. I'm keeping it small, just 50 people, so that we can actually have real conversations. And I'm not recording it because I want you to be there, present, doing the work with me, not watching it someday when you're ready, but now together. And if you're just starting out, save this for when you're a bit further along. But if you're already making money and you keep hitting that same wall, if you know you should be charging more but something is stopping you, if you're tired of playing small when you know you're capable of more, then you're exactly who I'm talking to. So take a breath and ask yourself, what's my number? What have I been telling myself I'm worth? Then click the link below, take the assessments, and if it resonates, if you see yourself in those results, come on the 1st of December. Not because I'm some guru with all the answers, but because I've walked this path and I know how lonely it feels to be stuck. And you don't have to do it alone anymore. And hey, if this video helped you see something you couldn't see before, send it to another entrepreneur who needs to hear it. Someone who's stuck, someone who undercharges, someone who knows they're worth more but can't seem to break through. Because the moment we see our invisible number, we start to remember who we actually are. Worth is something you earn. It's something you remember. So the link is in the description, and I'll see you on the 1st of December.